On time today. On time. If you're watching this late though, I'm not. I'm always on time. If you're late, I'm always on time. If you're on time, you know I'm late. I'm late. And don't start with your prejudice CPT time nonsense. Who's in the house this early? Brother Lee, good morning. Lee Robinson. Good morning. A bright top of the morning to you, sir. All right, let me get this shirt out to a few pages. As always, appreciate y'all sharing. Today, I saw some funny news. Oh Lord, and it's not funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. Chickens coming home to roost. I think we need to tell mama more. I gotta find. Y'all remember that? Y'all old people, y'all remember the show? What's the name of that show? What's happening? I need to find D. D was a famous teller. I think we need to tell more. That's all I do every morning. I come out here, I want to tell on people. I'm telling. Because y'all lying. Y'all lying. I'm telling. Talking about some blue wave. Blue wave my butt. Red wave my butt. It's just a purple wave. It's waving to invade the whole world. The world gonna bleed red. Trust me. Y'all keep waving red and blue. The world is bleeding. All right, I know. I'm a little rough on them sometimes. I'm sorry. I just think that there are no serious problems in the world we can't solve. But everybody want to put on their bigoted costumes and get out to fighting because they like to fight. Love to fight. Don't want to solve no damn thing. Love to fight. Don't want to solve a damn thing. And to me, I think that's a really, really, really bad idea. All right, let me get YouTube back. Good morning, everybody. Top of the morning to you. It's Friday. Chickens always come home to roost. If you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Now, unfortunately, in this case, I think if you live by the sword, it's probably your kids that's going to die by the sword. That's probably what's going to happen. Good morning, good morning. I'm going to get my comments going. I can't see everybody. That's all I'm a tattletale. I'm going to tell you, I'm a tattletale. You know what the difference is? Let me ask a question. I don't know. Kids still have chalkboards in schools? I don't know if y'all still got them chalkboards. We used to have chalkboards. Teacher would lead a class. All right, you come up here and you take names. Y'all remember taking names? Taking names. That's when you get that sellout in front of the classroom to take name, write down everybody's name, that's passing little love notes, shooting spitballs, talking, they're supposed to be reading or something, reading their lying history. I'm telling. The only difference is now, I'm telling on the teacher. I'm telling on the establishment. I'm telling. I'm sorry, I'm telling. I don't care. I'm telling on y'all lying too. You get on these bigoted sides and you want to make the world worse because you like to fight with people. I'm telling. I'm gonna tell that. Chickens always come home to me. I want y'all to think about today all the ways that chickens come home to roost. Because if we stop making chickens, they might stop coming home. But then again, chickens come home for a reason. Chickens ain't stupid. Chickens know what they're doing. They gotta come home to roost, especially if you keep making them. And that's why it's important for chickens to come home to roost. Not because you're hungry. Not because you're preparing a pot and you want to roast them, but because they come home to roost, because that's where they came from. I like to play the root cause game. I don't like to get on the side effects and argue with silly people over side effects. I always like to go to root cause. Root cause helps you to identify who's making all the damn chicken. I know, sounds kind of prejudiced. Y'all see a brown person up here talking about chicken. That's okay. I'm probably the only brown person you might know who does not eat chicken. That's all right. Deal with prejudice. I want to talk about chickens coming home to roost. I saw some interesting news this morning. Oh, it was interesting. It was interesting. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday, everybody. We got Gail is in the house, and Elaine, Tammy, and Lori. I'm sorry, Buddha. And Lee, brother Lee talking about the typewriters. Yeah, that was a great technology. I love the typewriters. Typing ain't the same. That's why I hate these computer things. It's not typing unless you're typing. Unless you hit it tippity tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap, tap. I couldn't wait to do my homework. Homework was so much fun. I hated homework, but I did homework because I got to use the typewriter. I said, Mama, I'd lie. I said, Mama, I got to do some homework, Mama. Mama, I got to do a book report. I had to do no book report. I didn't have the teacher say, yeah, you can write it or you can type it. I said, Mama, I got to type it. So I can get on her typewriter. Man, that was high technology at the time. What did Brother Lee, we can let it. All right, I'm sorry. All right, I'm old. Let me stop. How y'all doing? Kelly and Madonna, Trish, Rebecca, Michelle, Angie, Leslie, Fiona, Megs. All right, Andrew, Nina, and Ann. I'm all about fixing problems. That's what I like. I like to fix problems. I'm a parent. I don't have time for the ignorant apocalypse, the ignorant people apocalypse. I don't have time for the bigot apocalypse. And the people who stick around me, I think that they're my family. They're the ones who, they don't have time for it either. And we all wrong. We all make mistakes. But you always got to look at who made the chicken. Let me flip this picture. That's why y'all see the girl over here. I forgot her name. Somebody typed her name in the room. I forgot her name. She always telling. We need to tell more. Speaking of more telling, because I got to show y'all something. Before I show it to you, I want to explain why we got to take names. We got to take names, and don't be selective either. You know how we used to be selective? Because the teacher would lead like, Gerard, take names. I got the names. I get up there, and I see my friend spit a spitball, right? And so my friend William sitting in the class like, hit somebody in the back of the head. I ain't going to tell on William. I'm not going to write William on the board, because William's my friend, you know? I know Mike like Lisa, and Mike write I love you, and draw a little picture of dang-a-lang, crumple the paper up, throw it up there and hit the girl. I love you, can I hold your books? Can I walk you to the next class? Can we walk in line together? And I wouldn't tell on Mike, because Mike, that's my buddy, that's my home. Why would I tell on Mike? But damn sure, Geoff or Tori, Michelle or Brenda, y'all act up. I'm writing your name right on the board. I'm teacher come back, you in trouble. You doing homework, you on the detention. We gotta stop. We gotta stop being selective. But it's okay as a child to do those things, because I was raised as a bigot. I was raised to prefer my friends over everybody else. I was raised to prefer races and religions and fake ethnicities, made up cultures, selective timeline, this is who I am isms. I was raised to be a patriot to people who hate me, to people who hate you, to people who killed my ancestors, and people who killed your ancestors, all the peaceful ones. The murdery psychopaths that our ancestors, they all got to make it. They always won those wars. This telling. And why do I like to tell? I like to tell because I got my people back, I like to tell on people because the people who are doing it, they like money. They like money. They like too much money. They like so much money, they will destroy an earth. They will destroy the ecosystems. They will change the climate and murder everything on this earth but microbiology to win. And that's why we got to tell. That's why we can't be in groups anymore, people. Can't be. Oh, by the way, Brother Gary's out of prison. Thank you for your services, brother. Thank you for your services. He was abducted. Somebody needs to go out. Gary Frazier. Somebody needs to go out and set up a page for abducted activists. We need a page because I didn't even know. It was 24 hours after it happened, and I think Chris Lewis put one out and Deb put something out, but we didn't even know he was in. We didn't know when our people are abducted by corporations. The police don't take them in. The police, there's no constitutional law that they follow anymore for the most part. All those laws are written by, they're all unconstitutional, every last one of them. But we need to know when people go in because we need to know where people are. It's important. But they like money. And that's why they write unconstitutional laws. They like money. That's why, what is it? Russia is having meetings about ending the Afghan war. They ended the Syria war, now they're coming for the Afghan war. Peace, supporting the US troops, supporting the poor people being murdered in Afghanistan. And what is the U.S. Congress doing? Figuring out who they're going to murder next. Figuring out what wars are they going to start next. Figuring out who they can funnel weapons to next. I saw crazy stuff this morning. I was looking at the news. Oh, let me get these guys. Let me get the characters off. They like money. That's why they do it. This is not a late. They like money. But all these things always feed together. Even with Sister Linda. Yeah, I got her back there too. I got Sister Linda back too. Because you got to tell. Sometimes you got to tell. You see, you don't want to tell with your bigotry. You want to tell with your honesty. So Russia is supporting people of the earth, supporting ecosystems by trying to end war while you're multi-ethnic, multiracial, and your Congress with lots more women on it are trying to figure out how to get Trump. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. I'm just saying, y'all get excited about the wrong stuff. That's what I'm saying. You're supposed to be telling, not cheering. You're supposed to be telling, not cheering. Because right now, all your new fresh congressmen, all of them, all in there, congresswomen, you know what they're doing right now? They're being sat down, they're being explained to how their government actually works. That they don't actually represent you. Nah, you thought you were here to represent people? What, you don't read or something? Is the education system broken? You're not here to represent people. You're here to represent corporations. Your job is to do what the corporations need you to do. See, you're not here providing a service, young congressperson. You're here doing a job. And that job is to make sure our party stays in power. Outside of the fact that we work with the other party at the top, but people don't know that. That our party, and the only way our party stays in power is we get that big blood money from the big war on drugs, from big incarceration, from big destabilized third world countries, from big war, from big Afghanistan, from invading Iran. We got to get that money from all the murderously bloody corporations. Because if we don't get it, we don't stay in power. And if we don't stay in power, that means we got peasants. It means we can't live in gated communities. We can't have 2-3 yachts. We can't retire millionaires going into a job that only pays a 6-figure. We got to retire big time, big money, because we got our people gaslit who actually believe that we're going to represent them. And the job has been corporatocracy for a long time. Representing corporate interests, representing greed. But we got to make them believe. Why? Because they like money. And they make money by sending those chickens out. They send all the chickens out. But every now and then the chickens come home to roost. Come home to roost. They're sitting down, they're explaining it to him now. Everybody's excited to think something's going to change, but it's a good time. It's a good time. I'll tell you why it's a good time. Because this is how people who are capable of understanding how the world works can actually see it. You need a multi-ethnic, multi-racial, you need a Congress full of women. You need a Congress with people in their 20s. You need a Congress with people in their 80s and 90s. You need a Congress with all different types of people from all different walks and classes and creeds and everything, so they can figure out that the Congress is not here for you. That this representative model of government does not work. Sending out chickens, and them chickens come home to roost. And when they do, that's when you're supposed to be telling. You're not supposed to be picking a side. Let me show you something. I know we're gonna go back to something. Y'all remember Charlottesville? If you go back, I did a video on Charlottesville. I don't want to get into. I know there was a mass shooting. I'm not getting into it. Again, my stance on that is simply this: mass shootings happen. There's a mass shooting happening right now. Right now. It's not in America, and it should be important to you. Why? Because usually we're the ones behind it. Because we're the ones who funnel the weapons all over the world. Crazy stuff. We send all them chickens out. They always come home to roost. We sent a chicken out not too long ago. Y'all remember the Ukraine revolution? Y'all remember when we funneled weapons over there? The Obama administration helped out the Tiki Torch Nazis. They weren't all Tiki Torches. Not all of them. Let me show you something. Always come home to roost. You can't support violence, death, destruction, murder, and rape and not expect it to come home to you. You know that the FBI is actually doing their job right now? I'm gonna say something positive about the FBI. I am, because it's good people in all organizations. This is why I'm saying I'm not mad at the acronym people. People are us. Government is just us, right? But every now and then they do their job. Somebody in the FBI is doing their job. Let me show you something. They're going after Trump. We got murder all over this planet, but they convince people that the world's gonna be better when you get rid of Trump. And the problems in the world, that you can take the top 500 big problems on the earth. And America's got their fingers in all of them, and not one of them got any damn thing to do with no Trump. To be honest with you, it had nothing to do with Obama neither. These people are just actors. Let me show you this here. Chickens always come home to roost. If you live by the sword, you and your children will possibly die by the sword. I don't raise my kids to function in a good, well, healthy, peaceful economy. No, I showed my kids how to shoot. I showed my kids how to plant seeds and grow plants. I gave my kids the ability to be community and how to work with people. I gave my kids not the bigotry I was given, but what I think they need to make it in the future in the world that is this purple organization, because there's no red and blue, it's purple, that are destroying. So check this out.
The militias are suspected of training white supremacist groups which have been arrested for inciting violent attacks during protests in the US back in 2017. That's according to an unsealed criminal complaint by the FBI.
The Azov Battalion is a paramilitary unit of the Ukrainian National Guard, which is known for its association with neo-Nazi ideology and use of Nazi symbolism, and which is believed to have participated in training and radicalizing United States-based white supremacy organizations.
This was a quote from a criminal complaint, and the man who wrote it was behind investigating terrorist groups in America for the FBI. And right here, you will be able to see the photos posted by the defendants he was trying to bring to justice. They are members of the white supremacy Rise Above movement. Just recently, a number of charges have been brought against them, including conspiracy to start riots. The men were involved in the deadly 2017 Charlottesville riots.
All right, so you see where I'm going with this. Some of y'all have already figured it out. So what happened? We helped the neo-Nazis in the Ukraine, and those chickens came home to roost. The Obama administration sent them out. Not an Obama, he's a puppet just like Trump. But the Obama administration sent them out because it doesn't matter who's in them seats. Them seats are going to bring home blood always, because blood is where the money's at. And they trained American white nationalists and the Nazis who went and started that fight. And who released that first? Man that y'all don't like. He goes by the name of Alex Jones, right? Remember I told you about Charlottesville? I gave you my take on it. I looked at it and I said, wait a minute. So you got ignorant people on that side that are going to fight, and you got ignorant people on that side, well, not ignorant, wrong word. That is the right word, bigoted. And on that side that are going to fight, and it's only a few of them, but then the vast majority of people are showing up to peacefully protest. First of all, the FBI, Homeland Security, NSA, they all knew this was going to happen. They all knew. They track these terrorists all the time. And come to find out that, so what happened is when it blew up, you got your ignorant bigot side, you jumped on this side, and you were, I don't want to know the facts. I know the other side has to be wrong. And the other ignorant side, I don't want to know the facts. The other side has to be wrong. And it turned into this nonsense. And the only one who actually spoke some damn sense, which is why I think this is funny. The only one who spoke some damn common sense and didn't pick a side was the president that's supposed to be dumber than all you intellectuals. And he said, well, we got bad guys on both sides. Said something like that. He said what was true. He is actually, he's a human being. He says things that are true. And of course, he changed it later because they pushed on him because they got this whole narrative where they got to make you say certain things. So he kind of changed it up. But he grew up in America. He got his own bigotry like all of us do. But he said what was true. And so now, come to find out, Alex Jones was right. Because when everyone started jumping sides, the first thing I did is what I always do. I go listen, what the other side is saying. What is the other side saying when a fight breaks out in a high school? Kindergarten. Do you look at the colors of the children? Do you look at their bigoted political parties and pick a side first and then blame the other one? Or do you listen to what both of them have to say? And that's what, so I went over to Alex Jones. I haven't watched the guy in a while. He's funny to me. I used to watch him with Howard Stern and all the rest of them. Because it was just comedy and entertainment. Every now and then say something is true. And he explained it. There was a journalist. Well, he didn't explain it, but there was a journalist on there who went with the peaceful people who didn't want the statue of Robert E. Lee to come down. And they went to peacefully protest and speak on the mic and pray to Republican Jesus or something like that. And he said, the problem is we see on both sides, the same instigators coming to every single protest. They start a fight and then they disappear. And they come back to the next protest. They start a fight and they disappear. Now the FBI, somebody in the FBI is actually doing their job. And they've identified that the chickens sent out that empowered white nationalism in the Ukraine under the Obama administration, where Democrats owned everything, didn't do a damn thing that they ever say they're going to do because they're lying to you. That's just the job. Came home to roost, and somebody died from it. This is why telling the truth is important. This is why telling is important. This is why not being a bigot is important, because we can't fix any major problems in this world as bigots. We can only fix the real problems if we're honest. So I found that interesting. Chickens coming home to roost. I always looking at the chickens. The Honduran chickens coming home to roost. The Libyan chickens coming home to roost. Coming home, why? Because it's safe. It's safe to go back to the roost. And that's why they come home. The chickens come home. All the chickens you send out come home. China right now is having one of the biggest air shows on the planet. For aerial weapons. Let me see if I got that. Show that in the background. Why is China involved in the world's massive arms race? And Russia was there with them in Pakistan. Why are they showing off their military capability? Why? Because we sent out a chicken called an arms race. No, that's not an arms race. Hold on. Let me show you this. That's a damn car. And I don't want your car because your car is made on slave technology. Here we go. Chickens. Don't send it out chickens. Hold on.
Here at the biannual Zhuhai Air Show, this is the first public day where the public can come out and see the military might that China puts on display. But what's also been interesting at the last several days during this air show, yes, the demonstration of the military prowess of China, but also its tight alliances with Russia and Pakistan. That has also been on display. And something else that's been surprising is that some American companies here at the expo part of this air show have been optimistic and are playing a long game.
What? Did you think the American companies wasn't going? Oh, you thought it was just China, huh? You didn't think the American companies in it against you? Hold on. I'm gonna pause it right there. That's China's stealth fighter. Get used to it. You're gonna see it. Actually, show it to your kids. Your kids are gonna know what it looks like. Why? Because why the Democrats are going after Trump. Because you think that's gonna help things. They've started an arms race that will end in world conflict. But that's not important. That's not important. Let's not worry about the chickens coming home to roost. Let's not worry about making the world safe for the next generation. Let's just deal with our egos from the last election, from Russian meddling, which Russia never did, but Russia is like ending wars around this world right now. Explain that to me. Not that Russia's the good guys, but they're doing more good than we are. They're doing more good than anybody in the West. They're doing some murdery, bastardly things in their nation. I got friends from Russia, and they tell you that these thugs run their government, oligarch thugs. In America, corporations run that government. And we keep sending out those bloody chickens, and those chickens keep coming home. So now you got the arms race kicking off around the world. Although Russia, I think, is spending less on arms this year than they did last year. No, the last year they spent less than they did the previous year. While America jumps through the roof every single time. Military industrial complex. Why? Well, it's easy. They like money. And if you spend $100 million on an election, a midterm election, it's not because you're not thinking about getting any return on your investment. You're getting a return on your investment. They spend $100 million on that midterm election because they're going to make billions of dollars on weapons of war. They're going to make billions, if not trillions, on war. They're going to make billions, if not trillions, from big pharmaceutical companies, big chemical companies, big U.S. fruit companies in Latin America. They're going to make big money on destabilizing African nations and stealing their minerals and resources. Big money on stealing oil. So they're going to get that $100 million, but then now they might give you a little bit of health care. And so you might be okay before you die. You might get a little bit of health care before you die, because we can't seem to focus on priorities. Can't seem to focus on priorities. And those chickens just keep coming home to roost. Keep coming home to roost. That's their stealth fighter. You ain't gonna see it coming. You know, people say, like, and the other thing, well, you're not gonna beat us. We're Americans. We're Americans. We got a higher technological advanced military. No, we got some bad military. We got some bad boys. Right? We got the death killing robots too. But in recent history, I think that two empires showed that didn't really matter. Three, actually. What happened to the Germans, who all of their weapons were better than everybody else's? All of them. They had the war engine going, but the world beat them back. Romans, the Britons, all had better war technology. They put their investment in weapons to murder people. Were their people safe? Are their people safe? Or were those weapons turned around and used on their people too? Did they make it? Did they actually dominate an entire world of intellectual, critical thinking people who don't like to be enslaved? Or were their empires toppled? The only difference is back then, you're just talking about cannons and catapults. Oh no, not today, baby. Today we're talking about weapons that can end an entire planet. But we don't focus on real issues. You know, we let them tell us what's important. We let them tell us what we should be doing. And they tell you that they should be going after Trump, not ending the famine of millions of people in Yemen, not ending the creation of terrorism on every single continent, because terrorism is linked to empires like bacon and eggs, if you eat those things. The chickens always come home to roost. Why? Because they're supposed to. Let me show you this here. Because usually the roost is comfortable. Usually you got some TVs in the roost. You got a fireplace and some chairs. You can have your babies safe, because people like to have babies in safe environments. That's why you got a caravan that's marching here. Now go back and forth. You see what I'm doing here? Like the left, they had to like, oh, he's saying something for us. Then the right, oh, he's saying something for us. No, I'm not. I'm not on any of your team, not any of your sides. I'm on the side of the planet. I kind of got used to this thing, and I think we should keep it. I kind of got used to drinking water. I think we should keep it fresh. I kind of got used to eating food. I think that's good too. But we are trending towards a very dangerous world. It's all based in bigotry. I saw something I don't even want to show. I don't even want to show it. I don't know who this woman is. I don't know why y'all keep letting these people on TV. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. Let me explain my position. If you start your sentence with black people, okay? If you start your sentence with black people, whatever you say after that, no matter how well-meaning, no matter how creative, no matter how intellectual, it's going to be racist. I couldn't even watch it. I couldn't even watch it. Who was this lady? They were talking about feminism. I'm not sure I'm going to play it, because I feel like I'm supporting this continued march and keeping racism alive. And I don't want to do that. If you believe race exists, racism will always exist. It will not go anywhere. It'll be a required thing. Why? Because the people who need you fighting over race own all the mass media. All your news, all your articles, everything will be based on race. Every president will be racist. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I don't want to show it. I hate this stuff. I hate it. It just hurts my ears. All right. I have to show you a little bit of it. Unfortunately, these are real world examples. These are real problems we have in the world, and this is what's wrong with adults. This is why we got to have these conversations. But I hate this topic, but it's necessary to have. So let that spin up. Human suffering, yes.
Has caused controversy online by posting a tweet suggesting that most white women are not supporting the feminist cause. The comment came following the midterm Senate race in Texas, in which a majority of white women voted for the Republican candidate.
Because Republicans hate women.
59% of white women voted for Ted Cruz. 53% of white women voted for Donald Trump. So, given these numbers, who is the real face of feminism?
Well, in Texas, only 39% of white women voted for the Democratic candidate, and
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna pause for a second right here, because the thing that they get you to believe this crap right from the start. White women and black women don't exist. There's no such thing. Nobody went out there and tested their DNA and found out who they are. Besides the fact, that's just 7 genes that regulate skin color. That's just stupid. The idea that you would have any sort of important intellectual discussion based on 7 genes and 26,000 in the human beings is stupid-ridiculous. We gotta grow up and get past that. But the news, it's always driven towards getting you to believe these things. And so you see the statistic, your subconscious mind takes it in. This is why I tell people don't watch the news. I watch it only from a perspective of trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with my friends and family that are intellectuals and capable of critical thought. Because your subconscious takes everything in. This is where science is important. Your conscious is thinking about things. You control that. Your subconscious is not. So just by actually looking it on the screen, which is why I don't want to show it, it reinforces in your subconscious that race is a true construct, not something the Germans and slave masters and railroad tycoons came up with to divide everybody up so they can dominate the whole planet. All right, so I get excited. I get annoyed by it. So I can't watch the whole thing. And I watched like 3 seconds of this and I had to turn, all right, now maybe 20 seconds. And I had to turn it off because it's just, I don't like ignorance. But if we can't call out ignorance for what it is, if we can't call out total racism for what it is, then it won't go away. And racism's a real rough word. That's why I like the word bigot. If we can't call out bigotry on all sides for what it is, then it's going to stick around and we can't get on to bigger, more important discussions because you got silly people still talking about things that don't matter to the destruction of our freaking planet. All right, let me keep going. Keep going. All right, I'm not going to watch the whole thing. Y'all can watch the whole thing.
Supporter of feminist values, Beto O'Rourke. That's while 95% of black women voted for him and only 4% for Republican Ted Cruz. That's just the latest criticism of Republican voting women by liberals and progressives. Here are a few other examples.
What is happening? Why are women even voting for him?
Yeah, I don't get you ladies. I mean, the country's 55% women. I mean, if the country was 55% black, well, we'd have tons of black presidents.
When I see women doing that, I think, why are they publicly disrespecting themselves?
Voted against him.
Hold on. This is why I don't watch. I don't watch The Daily Show. I don't watch Bill Maher. I don't watch political comedy because it's not really comedy. It's funny. It's not really comedy. It's sowing discord and violence and the same problems that we can't get rid of. But you laugh at it. But again, it gets programmed in and you don't really know it. Your subconscious is taking in, ha, 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 ha. You're stupid if you vote for Ted Cruz and you're a woman. Outside of it, you're stupid if you're a Republican and you voted Republican and it's for you're woman. I don't think you're stupid if you vote Republican or Democrat. I just think you don't read enough, but that's okay. We can get there. I didn't used to read enough either. But it gets ingrained. That's why Hollywood's not Hollywood anymore. It's all political. It's all about war. It's all about that money. Because if you can divide people up and get them to believe this crap, you can kill people all over the planet and they won't give a damn as long as they get rid of Trump.
Hillary Clinton voted against their own voice.
I didn't vote for anybody.
You didn't vote for anybody?
Nobody.
But you are a woman.
And
you are a Democratic woman. And Hillary Clinton, as best I can tell,
is
a woman. I don't get it.
She scared me.
Oh, I missed that. That's why I didn't watch the whole thing. You know what? Okay, I'm all right with her. The dude with the bald head. That's why you can't hold on. Let me go back. I don't know who this is. I know y'all know who this is. I don't know who. I don't watch this crap. Van Jones, you're an idiot. I love you, brother, but you're an idiot. Like, this is what I mean, that this is not news. This is all partial. But all right.
Anybody.
You didn't vote for anybody.
Nobody.
She didn't vote. Thank you, sister, for not voting. Appreciate that. We actually might get to fix something because you didn't believe in supporting this war system.
You woman. I don't get it.
I don't get it. But you see how they do that? It's going in. It's going in, whether you want it to or not. It's going in. Your subconscious is processing. It's getting stored in your data. It's a part of your database now that it's ridiculous that you would be a woman and vote for that. This is how they play us against ourselves. Bigotry.
She scared me.
Oh, she scares the hell out of me too.
All right,
they
to
all
talk
scared.
more about this, I'm joined by author and women's rights advocate M. Reese Everson and media commentator Gina Loudon. To you both, thanks for being with us here on RT International. Of course, here we have kind of just this perfect storm of events, if you will. We have race brought into the mix. We have feminism brought into the mix. So I guess the question I throw to you both, how would you assess Hill's comments? Is being a Republican and a feminist compatible? If so, why? And if not, why not?
Well, I would say that in the tradition of true feminism, in the tradition of women just voting independently as they think and not based on their gender or their skin color or those kinds of things, that is true independence. If you look at the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he said he hoped that people would be judged not by their skin color or categorized by extemporaneous factors. He wanted them judged by the content of their character. And I think that's how women in America should and usually do vote.
All right, M. Reese Everson, same thoughts?
Yeah, that sounds good. And we love to use Martin Luther King and throw out those sound bites. But see, what was actually important to King was making sure that the little brown children, as they were being bused from school, from the lower economic sides of the community to the parts that were fully white, so that those children could be integrated and educated at the same level of the other children. And unfortunately, what we're seeing here is that just like back then in the 60s when black children were being bused to other communities, white women did something very interesting. If you go back and you look at most of the pictures of the 60s of the children being bused, you see a lot of white women standing there angry face yelling and spitting on children and holding up signs saying, "You can't go to school with my children."
Hold on, I gotta stop that. Hold on, wait, hold on. Okay, I can't. I gotta stop. I can't do it anymore. I don't want that in my subconscious. I'm sorry, I can't do it. All right, let's start. Let's break this down. Let's break this down. Oh, I hate this. I hate it. All right, so this is how you know you're getting pulled in. There's nothing Martin Luther King that said this is a sound bite. Number one, nothing he said is a sound bite. That man at 26 was smarter than everybody who was on that show, broadcasting on the show, behind the cameras, the lights, and even working that damn building. That man was a man well ahead of his time, first of all. Second of all, no, Martin Luther King didn't stand up for brown kids. Martin Luther King stood up for everybody's kids. And when he did, the brown leaders and the white leaders murdered him, okay, through the FBI. That I just gave praise to a little earlier. But you got to go out to the FBI.gov to read the redacted documents to actually know that. I get upset with this. I get upset because, and I'm not upset with her. I'm not upset with her because I used to be her, right? I was pulled in And I believe this crap that's handed down. I believe that you could fight racism with racism, and I believed in race and all of this crap. She is trying to help, but she's not helping. She's sowing more discord. That's why they have people like her on television. It stirs up division, and you want to do good and you listen to her. The reality is there is no feminine party. Do you think the Republicans or the Democrats give a damn about women? I want to hear from somebody. I need to see a comment. Somebody tell me something. Do you think? All right, I ask the question another way. Who cares about women more? The Republicans or the Democrats? Now watch out now. Watch out, because I'm not here to play. I'm not here to play. But then again, I already put the answer out. I think I was talking about it this morning. The number one environment, the voiceless, are oppressed the most. The number one environment where women are raped the most. The number one environment where children are taken into sex slavery is a destabilized environment. A governmentless, a lawless nation. A nation where you toppled the nation. A nation where you funnel guns in so people who used to fight with machetes now have fully automatic weapons and tanks. Nations that our governments are called regimes that were stable and moving forward and becoming models in the world where the voiceless or the weakest can actually have a little bit of safety. And the Democrats and the Republicans march down that street together and they don't give a damn. There is absolutely no difference from a feminine perspective from Republicans and Democrats. They are the reason sex trafficking and rape thrive all over this planet. We need to stop playing. Stop playing. We only talk about truth. All right, I'm getting upset. Let me calm down. Come down. Damn about what's happening to women around this world with a Congress that now has 100 women in it. The first thing that would be happening is they'd be ending the war. They'd be ending funneling weapons. They'd be ending supporting warlords. The major thing is they'd be ending the war on drugs right now, because that's what topples power in foreign nations. That's what makes the police in other nations who are supposed to investigate rape and murder and femicide, things that are happening in Honduras. Those are the things that actually matter. Not a president who grabs them in the thing. But they trick people. And they're good at it. This is why I'm not upset with her. I don't even know her name. I don't know anybody. I don't like politics. I don't care nothing about dividing people up and making them stupid. I'm not mad at her. I'm upset with the environment. It's the environment that makes people think like this. And then they put them on television. And it's not even because of the media. I'm not even mad at the media. They just want to sell newspapers they want you to watch. And they know how to get you to watch? They talk that crap. There's no talking point that came out of Martin Luther King's mouth. Not one. The man was on it. And because he was on it, the bigots killed him. The bigots on both sides. All right. It was some good stuff in the news. I got upset with that one. I got a little upset with that one. There were some other interesting things I left in. We just have bigger problems. We have bigger problems. And Trump isn't in the top 5,000. We are fueling real Nazis, not the tiki torch, real Nazis all over this planet. And they're going all over the Atlantic. I'll post the article and you'll see how all of that hate's coming back. And all that hate is being sent out by the people you think who are there to protect you. Because they're not there to protect you. This is all it should. I gotta lighten it up. I got upset. I know. It's just that we can solve problems so easily. We can get some cows to step on top of us. This is India. This is India. 400 cows trample the misfortunes out of worshipers in India. I shouldn't laugh. It might work. It might work. So they get the cows, and they line them up, and they trample people, and it takes the misfortune out. I kind of think that we need some stampedes in Washington. We need to sample some of that out, and it samples them. Oh my Lord, I look at this and I'm just like, oh Lord, okay, I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but I guess the cows, they get their revenge every now and then. This might be it. But this is what they believe, is that if the cows step on them, that it gives them fortune. And they get up and they dance after animals that weigh hundreds of pounds trample them. That's deep. That's deep. I wish I had that level of strength. I wish I had that level of faith. I don't. It's culture. Culture is a beautiful thing. Belief is a beautiful thing. Belief has more power than what we ever get a credit for. The things that you believe in. The only thing that with belief, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with whatever your religion is, whatever you believe. But your beliefs are for you. That's another way that we get broken apart in this bigot apocalypse, and these chickens come home to roost, and people get real selective. Instead of fixing the problem, they join a side. Your beliefs are for you. You believe in vaccines? That's your belief. Don't put them in my body. You believe in GMO? Then eat it. That's your belief. Put it in your body. I was upset with Joe Rogan the other day. I was upset with him. He said, vaccines have done miraculous things. They've outweighed any harm that's ever come about by vaccines. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, if that's what you believe. Now, meanwhile, the technology actually doesn't exist to prove that. But if you believe that, then you should get vaccines and you should give them to your kids, but they're for you. You know, if you believe that your religion is true, I'm fine with that. Keep your religion in you. I'll keep my faith in me. And this is where we get in trouble, because I call them the trifecta, and government's the third. First is religion. The other is science, faith-based. All of them are faith-based. And the last one is government, faith-based. That trifecta is what's destroying this earth, because people believe. You believe in your Democrats? Okay, I'm fine with that. Keep that belief in you. You believe in your Republican representatives? Fine with that too. But keep it in you. As long as that belief isn't murdering anybody, it's not killing anybody, it's not causing rape around the world, it's not causing child trafficking, not murdering millions since 9/11, then okay. Let that belief out a little bit. Share it with us. The good parts of it. But when they step up and they come against the human race and you are a human, this is when you're supposed to run away from that. This is when you're supposed to back away. Because those chickens come home. Everything's all related. Everything's interconnected. You don't get to live as a bigot on this planet without destroying everything. That's the question I was talking about this morning. Is we're a population we're a species on a planet that is abundant, but its resources do have limitations. Exponential growing species, armed to the teeth, governments with massive weapons in a competitive model. How do you think this ends up? How do you think it ends up if we continue to compete against each other for resources and survival, and all of our governments are armed to the teeth? And our government, specifically in the United States, is starting arms races and wars and conflicts and toppling governments all over the planet. How do you think that ends up? Do you think it ends up us winning? Do you? Do you think you can win when over a dozen governments have earth-ending technology? How do you think that ends up? Do you think you can actually win this? Like, I try to get inside the mind of people. Why are you only worried about the Americans? Why are you only worried about the Germans? Why are you only worried about the Russians? Do you actually think that when Russia takes the world lead position, because you can see that they're lining them up for that. Whoever actually controls all of this nonsense, they're lining Russia up to be the world leader. And America, once that dollar collapses, we're going to fall back into second place, third place, fourth, wherever they want us to be. Do you think it ends up well? Do you think if Russia has all the technology that we're going to actually let you exist by murdering us and you're going to thrive on this planet? No, we're going to destroy the whole damn thing. We're going to be like, how they like to say in the little prejudiced ways, that minority, you never fire a minority on a Friday. We're gonna knock over the desk. We're gonna piss on the floor. We're gonna break some windows. You're not. With every country with earth-ending technology will end this earth before they let you have it. And this is smart. This is a wise way to go. That's why I don't get into gun control debates. I have no interest. I want poor people to have guns, all the guns you can get. I'm happy with it because poor people with guns aren't the problem. Never were the problem, never will be the problem. The only problem we have is governments with militaries. They murder more people than everybody else, and they stage mass shootings every second of the day. Somewhere on this planet, they're behind it. So if you're about peace, you want to stop the violence, your first stop is disarming your government. When we disarm governments, when we get rid of their militaries, you know what they need to do? They actually have to be adults, and they got to talk through their problems. They actually have to negotiate. They have to show intellectual ability to actually solve real problems, not just murder people because that's the only tool that they have. All right, I'm gonna go back and look at some comments. Something else weird in the news this morning. I was looking at, it's still capturing orcas, putting the orcas in cages. We already dealt with that. I don't want to go back through that. We got to start moving forward and figuring out like the real problems and dealing with them. We can't keep a conflict-based society. Conflict-based societies, or not conflict, competitive-based governing models will always end in the death of all of us. Because eventually that competition ends in violence and conflict and war, and somebody at the end of it is going to shut everything down because they're not going to let you have everything. That's why whatever your model is of government, you know, somebody was coming at me yesterday about capitalism. Socialism. They thought I was a socialist. I'm not any of that. All of those models of government have murdered millions of people. None of them have ever worked. They don't work. Oh, America worked. America is not capitalist. America is crony capitalism. And yes, hell yeah, if you look at the GDP, it worked for big corporations, but is it working for you? Is it going to work for your kids? We are less free every generation. It's not working. Doesn't work. And it's definitely not going to work in an automated economy. We need real solutions that aren't based in pitting people against each other. Because when you pit people against each other with limited resources, somebody's got to die. And then eventually everybody dies. All right, I'm going to go back to the comments. All right. Was that Saturday Night Live? Yeah, Mary, that was Saturday Night Live. Which is, I like Dave Chappelle. He's funny. And I like Chris Rock. I like them. They're funny. But when things get political, we got to stop. Because it's somebody just mentions agitation, right? They agitate you and they program you subconsciously to fit on that side. And the only way you get to have a career in Hollywood and be on big business television is you got to pick a side. You got to be a bigot or you don't actually get to get big. There's no big money in being honest. There's no money in integrity. The money is in being a crook and a thief. That's why our society is based in crookery and thievery. And people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear things that change them. They don't want to hear things that help. They want to hear things that support the narrative, the lifestyle, and the belief that this matrix-like bigot-raising world indoctrinated them to. And that's what they tune into. And so that's what the media does. That's why I always go back to the problem is the mirror. We always got to go back to the problem is in the mirror. When we act right, our government has no choice but to act right. When we act foul, when we're bigots, it's a guarantee we will always get bigoted government. And that's going to be a bigot, hurt the other side. It's going to piss them off. That side hurts the other side, going to piss them off. That side is going to take from that side to get this side. It's going to piss them off that side. And the next thing you know is we all go back to where the Egyptians said we came from. We all get wiped out. We have to start all over again. So we get it. That woman, yeah, Martin Luther King said some nice things, but what her really meant was, well, you know what, Sharon? The way I see that is too many people have been pulled into that racial debate, right? Too many people have been pulled in. And they start the conversation on race people, right? They start the conversation with white people or black people. And if you start the conversation that way, you've already lost to anybody who understands that that's racism. You've already lost to anybody who understands that that's a conversation and bigotry, right? So I think she actually started out the right way. I think that she started on a quote from Martin Luther King, which is what she should have. And the other lady jumped in too fast. The other lady, you know, she came and said, oh, you don't get to talk about Martin Luther King because Martin Luther King belongs to me and my people. And that's where it all broke down. Then it all breaks down. Emotion kicks in. You start throwing things out. White people, white women pissing on kids and spitting on them or whatever. And, and it just goes in a route it shouldn't go. But people are trained to be that way. I think we have to have a respect for the power of the brainwashing that happens in this country, around the world, on both sides. You're allowed to feel for those, Gerard. That's what keeps you human. Apathy is a sickness. Apathy is a sickness, Crystal. Apathy is a mental illness. Apathy is, and that's what we fight. We're in an apathetic apocalypse where people are so bigoted that they don't even see humanity in the other people. And that's the problem. We have to go back to being human beings and caring more, right? We are in an apathetic apocalypse. That's on your favorite station, Gerard, RT. Yeah, it is, Mary, because RT, they like to play too. Like I say, always look at the perspective that somebody's coming from. Russia, what are they doing with that? They obviously, they want to own the surrounding provinces, whether you're talking about Crimea and the Ukraine and all the surrounding areas, there are conflicts, and they don't like America meddling. So they'll tell the truth about America meddling there. But they have a vested interest in America being divided up. If Americans are fighting over white and black and feminism and manism. Is there a manism? I don't know. Religions, Christianity, Muslim, it helps them. Like I said, I think Russia's being positioned to be a world leader, because they're obviously making the right moves. They're doing peace talk. They're ending wars. They're helping people. They're sending in aid to places. They're trying to solve problems at the root cause. They're doing very well at hiding probably the chickens that they're sending out to come home to roost. And so they benefit in Americans having that conflict. So when it comes to American conflict, they agree with CNN, MSNBC, and all the other stations that want Americans fighting. That's why I got upset with that. I love RT, but I got upset with that. Because now is not a time for your bigotry. Now is a time for you to be smart. Now is the time for you to be wise. Now is the time for you to look at the big problems, not the little ones. No labels, no uniforms, no normatives. Truth is unfiltered. Exactly, Brother Kevin. When you're just talking about truthful things, you don't pick a side, you don't selectively write names on the board, then things go the way they're supposed to. Things get good. But when you pick a bigoted side, the other side's gonna bigot up too. And you're gonna bigot up more, and then they're gonna bigot up more. You're gonna get more resource, they're gonna get more resource. You're gonna hire representatives as an adult to represent you, they're gonna get more resources from them. And it's an escalation. And that ends in, unfortunately, it's not like a marriage, it doesn't end in divorce. It ends in death. And that's a real bad idea. There are bad actors of both sexes. Just Lori Cycle, all genders. We got to stop looking at somebody's gender, stop looking at somebody's race or religion, and think that that means a good thing. It doesn't. It's just a thing. It's just DNA. It has absolutely nothing to do with the person's ability for critical thought or to be a human being or to solve problems. My stream keeps getting interrupted. Yeah, Brother Harley, because I don't pick a side. I don't pick a side. I don't think it's favored. I guess I don't fall in real conspiracy. Anyone's out there pressing buttons. I'm sure somebody's watching, but I think they just have favored broadcasts and ones that aren't. And if you're not saying the tribal stuff, then you're not favored. And I don't want to be in favor. I don't do this for money. I don't do it to be favored, nothing like that. I do this because I'm a parent. I have kids and I want them to have a future. And right now, this purple thing that's running our government and our world, there is no future. Putting Russia in the place of America, that's not a choice. That's not a good choice. It's not a good idea. Russia's gonna do the same damn thing we're doing. Why? Because we did it. Their bigotry will kick in and hatred for us, you know, and then we'll be on the bottom. You just dropped your weed on the floor. Pick your weed up, girl. Crystal, what are you talking about? It's too early for that, isn't it? That early in the morning, are you? Well, this is in tea or something. I don't know. Higher frequency. Yes, we got to be on a higher frequency. Joe Rogan, the gatekeeper. A lot of people don't like him. I still like him. You know, but it's just, it is what it is. I like the lady on the other side. Because she going to say something that's true, and the other lady going to say something that's true. It's just, we have to stop with the teamisms. You know, we're all given false information, and that helps to form who we are. And as long as you're okay to be right and wrong at times, then we're good. But if you're always right, then that's when we have a problem. If your side is always right, then that's when we have a problem. Yes, mandating belief. And that's how it works, Patricia. They mandate belief and they program people to believe and then inflict their belief on other people. And that's why you got the war on drugs. And that's why you have all of this conflict. That's why there is no feminist movement, the political one. There is no Me Too. There might be Me Too in other countries. It's not Me Too here. Here it's Me Too / American / Democrat. Who's doing the same thing everybody else is doing. Picking a side and taking an important issue and making it political. You know, there's somewhere in this world right now, there are children who are being sold into sex slavery. And it's paid for by the political parties you think that are actually here to help you. And to me, that's one of the biggest crimes against humanity, is to act like a critical human rights problem is a political. You do more harm associating an important problem with your politics. You do more harm than the people doing the harm, if you ask me. That's why we got to get better than that. People, we're better than this. We are so much better than this. Never, ever give anything important to a representative, especially one in a country where the government's run by corporations. That makes no sense to me. Friend complained that everybody blames America, blah, blah, while discussing Honduras. Is karma a belief? Well, unfortunately, Patricia, America is here. You know, we own that. We did it. We own it. You know, it's you know, they get upset, and you know, like I said, I don't blame America. I just like to say what's true, and the truth is, you know, we toppled these governments, and if it's true, it's true. It may not feel good, but it's true. And as an adult, you know, we gotta tell. You gotta tell, and you gotta be honest about telling. And that's how we get integrity, is if you're an American and you're actually blaming America for what it actually did and the resources we still have because we destroyed their governments, the power we still have, then you get your integrity back. When I hear Russians talking about Russia negatively, that's somebody I listen to. When I hear Americans chastising America, I listen to them. When I hear Christians chastising Christianity, I listen a little closer. When I hear Muslims chastising Muslim, I listen in. When I hear Jews talking about Zionism, I listen in. When I hear people who come from the communities or the areas that they're chastising, they got a little more information and they have a lot less reason to lie to me. That's when I tune in. Bible Belt Christians, huge sheep flocks. Well, yeah, you know, there are a lot of people who don't get it in that community, but there are a lot of people who do get it, and we need them, you know, and that's the whole point of trying not to offend them, but trying to get them to read their Bibles, get them to read the 10 Commandments, anything to kind of bring people back from their insanity spaces. It's complicated, but everyone's brain has been physically affected. It absolutely has, Brenda, and it's definitely complicated, but it's easy to fix. By tuning out, by dropping out, by walking away. A system needs your compliance. A system needs your consent. A system needs your purchase. It needs you to work for it. It needs you to keep it going. It's like racism. Racism is a system, and it thrives on you believing in race. As long as you believe in race, racism will exist. It's a system. Democrats and Republicans, as long as you believe in them, keep coming on. As long as you believe in Santa Claus, as long as you keep writing that Christmas list, Santa Claus is gonna keep bringing presents. It's just how it works. And I don't believe in Santa Claus anymore. A lot of adults believe in Santa Claus. You gotta be a humanist. Yes, Linda, you gotta be, if you're a human, you gotta be a humanist, right? If you're a part of nature, maybe you should focus on nature. Maybe you should act like nature's important. But a lot of people think they're not. Our children are getting sick. You know what, Patricia? I don't even think our children are getting sick. Our children are being sickened. Our children are being poisoned in their water and their food by the governments that are coming here to protect us. I wish kids led the world. Well, Lori, I won't go that far. I wish some aspects of children remained in adults and led the world. See the background. Yeah, that's my background. I forgot her name. She got to tell, because sometimes you got to tell. When you see that the chickens came from your roost and they come home to roost, you got to be honest about those chickens. And we're sending too many chickens out. They're coming home to roost, and we got to stop with our bigotry and be honest that we sent that chicken out. You know, war on drugs is a big one. Sending weapons all around the world is a big one. Conflict, like my only interest is the human rights stuff. All the little tiddlywink stuff, I don't care nothing about. I don't care nothing about your Trump. I don't care nothing about your Democrats, your Republicans. I don't care nothing about your Kavanaugh. I don't care nothing about any of that. I care about your supporting people who are talking about that crap while they're murdering people. When we can get past violence and murdering people, then we can start talking politics again. Until then, politics are getting in the way. They are the proliferator of why people are oppressed all over the world. Yeah, it was the first snow where I live. Okay, Agent Credilla. Yes, it stops every minute. Yes, every minute, Desiree, there is a mass shooting. And it's not only important if it's in America. It's important if it's everywhere. And it's very important if Americans are talking about gun control and they're happy to keep no military control. I wouldn't be surprised if in 2020, the rise of socialism, the way things are going, we're going in circles. Right, Harley? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. There won't be a rise in real socialism. There'll be a rise in crony socialism. Like there will never be a rise in capitalism. It's going to be crony capitalism. Because all of these models in government are always owned by the people who are causing the problems. And the cronies make sure that they stay above it all. And that's why every form of those governments have always murdered millions of people and they haven't helped. Very true. Russia's more diplomatic. Yes, Brother Harley. That's why I focus in on that. It's just weird. It's embarrassing, actually. It's not weird. It's embarrassing that Putin is actually using critical thought and seems compassionate, and he's playing the media. I don't think he's a good guy, but it just seems so obvious that he's filling the role of the good guy while we're always filling in as the bad guys. And it's obvious that something is driving in this way. Censorship, look what happened with abolishing alcohol in the states. Right, it's what it, well, you know what, Lori? I think where you're going with that is the war on drugs was a form of censorship, right? That was sending out a chicken, right? It's a form of censorship because if people can't grow their own pain medication, it means they got to buy from big pharmaceutical companies. So big pharma makes money. It means that the warlords in other countries, the MS-13s, the gangs, they can actually make a lot of money selling drugs, which means they can buy the weapons, which means the military-industrial complex can make the weapons and sell the weapons, which is why we're the #1 arms dealer, which I don't even know who makes the most money from the war on drugs anymore. It means that they can capture a bunch of Americans and throw them in prison and have slavery, and a bunch of corporations make money from that, and then they get to slave labor from that they use in the different states. And so there's so many feed-ins, but it's a form of censorship. You're censoring people. You're telling people what they can't do. And one thing I believe in, Lori's always, is self-determination. What you want to do is on you. It has nothing to do with me. You know, if we can go back to respecting each other's self-determination, most of the problems in the world go away, because most of the problems came from them tricking me to turn against you, or tricking you to turn against me, that your belief should be applied to me. And when we stop doing that, all of this goes away. So that's why I don't blame the government. The government, we get the government we deserve. If we're divided up and silly and stupid and fighting each other, then that's exactly what they do. The nation's governments will always mimic. I was about to say represent. I didn't say representative. They don't represent us. It always mimics its people. Go back to trusting your gut and listen to your human intuition. Teach the kids mindfulness for social change. Absolutely. And the teaching the kids, Jeannie, is probably the most important part. In case we don't get this right and we don't fix this, the kids are going to have to. And I don't think it's a good idea if they got to take up guns to fix it. That's unavoidable. You oppress, but yet so much. That's what's going to happen. I always get fired from doctor's offices. You're supposed to, Crystal. You believe in holistic medicine. The doctor's offices, they're not about holistic medicine. They're about chemical medicine. They're about chemical drugs. That's their whole remit anymore. 80% of the drugs are just for drugging people, treating side effects, not solving problems. You won't do well there. I don't think they even let me in there. I think if I found a doctor, they probably wouldn't even let me in anyway. They got sick of me. I don't get sick. My kids rarely ever get sick either, because when you take their drugs, you will be sick and you'll feed into the industry. When the House swung back to Democrat, I knew we had another session of ping pong. And that's all it is, Patricia. And it's the same ping pong, like ding, ding. That's a good example. Ding, goes this way, ding, 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 ding. And nothing changes. And the ping pong is like not really even ping pong. Like nobody wins. It's just it's a little white ball that goes back and forth. And the ball's not even real, it's fantasy. Because on every important issue, they all do the same thing. Always. Everything important. Everything involves human life, self-determination, police state, war, destruction. They're all the same. If you can get a president that used to say, grab him in the coochie, whatever he said, oh man, that's an issue. We gotta fight. While people die. That's why it's kabuki theater. It's just a kabuki theater. And this is why we sit back and we laugh at this nonsense. Because it is nonsense, all of it. You guys struggle with critical thought and you struggle with prioritization of problems. And this is why we can't have nice things. That's why I always say it's run tell that. This is why people like, where Linda at? Linda is important. We got to tattle tell, y'all. We got to tattle tell more with integrity. We got to tell. Sometimes you got to run tell that. Linda had to run tell it. Why? Where's my brother at? Because they like money. And as long as they love and like money, there will never be any freedom and oppression, because there will never be freedom from oppression. The representatives who work for corporations will always do precisely what the corporations tell them to do. Anyway, it's Friday. Y'all have a good weekend. Hopefully I gave you something to think about. I'll see you on the highways and byways of the internet. Love y'all. I'm out. Bye-bye.